Hello, I'm glad you're watching today. What if I told you there's a simple test that could predict how many years you have left? I know that sounds dramatic, but stick with me, because this isn't just clickbait. It's backed by science and medical research spanning decades. And this information could add years to your life if you're over 60, like many of my viewers. When I turned 65, I began to notice changes in my body that honestly scared me. Getting up from a chair was harder. My balance wasn't what it used to be. And one day, my doctor asked me to do something so simple that I was embarrassed when I struggled with it. That simple movement, or lack thereof, was a wake-up call that changed everything for me. What I'm talking about is the sit-to-stand test. It's exactly what it sounds like. How easily can you sit down and stand back up from a chair without using your hands? Sounds easy, right? For many of us over 60, it's no longer so simple. And here's the truly sobering part. Research has shown that older adults who struggle with this basic movement have a significantly higher mortality risk over the next 5 to 10 years. I'm not saying this to frighten you. Well, maybe a little. But mostly because I care too much to sugarcoat something this important. When researchers followed thousands of older adults for years, they found that those who couldn't perform this simple task were up to 5 times more likely to experience a serious fall, hospitalization, or worse. 5 times. Think about that for a moment. Something as basic as standing up from a chair without using your hands could be a warning sign that your body is losing the strength it needs to keep you independent and, frankly, alive. But here's the good news, and there is very good news. This isn't a death sentence, far from it. It's an opportunity, an early warning system that you can use right now, today, in your own living room. And better yet, if you don't pass this test with flying colors, you can improve. Your body can get stronger at any age. I've seen people in their 80s and 90s experience dramatic improvements in their strength and balance in just weeks of consistent, simple exercise. So, how exactly do you perform this test? It's simple. Find a sturdy chair of standard height, approximately 17 inches from the floor. Sit in the middle of the chair with your back straight, feet flat on the floor about shoulder width apart, and your arms crossed over your chest. Now, without using your hands or arms, stand up completely and then sit back down. That's 1 repetition. The goal is to complete this 5 times in a row as quickly as possible, but safely. For adults 60-69, you should aim to complete all 5 in under 11.4 seconds for men and 12.6 seconds for women. If you're 70 to 79 years old, the target is 12.6 seconds for men and 14.1 seconds for women. And if you're 80 years or older, aim for 14.8 seconds for men and 17 seconds for women. Now, what if you try this and can't do it at all without using your hands? Or what if you can only do it once or twice before needing help? That's your body sending you an urgent message. It's saying that your leg strength, core stability, and overall functional fitness have declined to a point where basic daily activities may soon become challenging. Activities like getting out of bed, climbing stairs, or catching yourself if you trip. All these depend on the same muscle groups and coordination that this simple test measures. The sit-to-stand test doesn't just predict mortality, it reflects your overall functional independence. When researchers at medical centers across the country studied thousands of older adults, they found this test was one of the strongest predictors of who would remain living independently and who would eventually need assisted living or nursing home care. I remember working with Margaret, an 82-year-old viewer who wrote to me after watching my previous video on this topic. She couldn't stand up once without using the armrests. 6 weeks later, after following a simple strength routine for just 10 minutes a day, she could do 3 repetitions without help. Those 3 sit-stands might not sound impressive to a younger person, but for Margaret, they represented the difference between needing help for basic activities and maintaining her cherished independence. Margaret's story isn't unusual. I've received thousands of messages from viewers, just like you, who were shocked at how difficult this simple movement had become. But the real tragedy isn't struggling with the test. It's ignoring what your body is trying to tell you. Because make no mistake, this isn't just about standing up from a chair. It's about the underlying strength that enables you to live the life you want to live. Let me explain the science here, but I promise to keep it simple. When you stand up from a chair without using your hands, you're engaging your quadriceps in your thighs, your glutes, your core muscles, and even your back. These are the exact same muscle groups that catch you when you stumble on uneven pavement. They're the muscles that help you climb stairs, get in and out of the car, and play with your grandchildren. They're what I call your independence muscles. And when they weaken, everything in your life becomes more difficult and dangerous. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association followed over 2,000 seniors and found that those who performed poorly on the sit-to-stand test had a 54% higher rate of hospitalization in the following year. Another study tracked adults over 70 for 6 years and discovered that those who couldn't complete the test had nearly double the mortality rate of those who could. These aren't just statistics. They represent real people who might have had healthier years if they had recognized and addressed their declining strength sooner. I've worked with physical therapists who tell me this is often the first test they administer to new patients over 60. One therapist told me, "I can tell more about a senior's functional health from watching them stand up from a chair than from almost any other movement." Doctors use it because it's simple but remarkably revealing. It's like a window into your future. Now, I don't share this to scare you, though a healthy dose of concern might be exactly what you need right now. I share it because I've seen too many people realize too late that their strength had been quietly disappearing year after year. By the time they experienced a serious fall or couldn't get up from the floor after dropping something, they were already facing a difficult road to recovery. The good news, and yes, there is very good news, is that muscle strength can improve at any age. I've worked with 90-year-olds who doubled their strength in just 12 weeks of consistent, appropriate exercise. Your body is remarkable in its ability to respond to demands placed upon it, even if you've never exercised regularly before. So, what exactly should you do if you struggled with the sit-to-stand test? First, don't panic. Recognize this as valuable information. Your body gives you an early warning system before a crisis occurs. Second, start small, but start today. Even if you can only stand up using the armrests now, you can begin working on the strength that will eventually let you do it unassisted. Begin with supported sit-to-stands. Use the armrests or push off with your hands on your thighs, but try to use a little less support each time. Do this 5 to 10 times, twice a day. Focus on pushing through your heels and keeping your back straight. If that's too challenging, start by just hovering above the seat. Stand up partially, then sit back down, using as little hand support as possible. Another exercise that helps tremendously is wall slides. Stand with your back against a wall, feet about shoulder width apart and a foot away from the wall. Slowly slide down into a partial squat position, not too deep, just what feels challenging but doable, and then slide back up. This builds the exact same muscles you need for the sit-to-stand test in a controlled and supported manner. I remember hearing from Robert, a 74-year-old former engineer who discovered he couldn't stand up without pushing off the chair arms. He was living alone after losing his wife and realized that his independence was at risk. I'd always been self-sufficient, he wrote to me. The thought of needing help for basic things terrified me more than anything. Robert started with supported sit-to-stands, just 5 repetitions, 3 times a day. He put sticky notes on his TV remote as a reminder. After 3 weeks, he could stand completely without using his hands. By 6 weeks, he could do all 5 repetitions unassisted, though not quite at the target speed. 4 months later, he beat the standard time for his age group and wrote to tell me he felt 10 years younger. What Robert discovered wasn't just physical strength, it was confidence. When your body can respond reliably to your demands, you feel secure moving through the world. You don't hesitate to accept social invitations or play with the grandkids because you trust your body to support you. That confidence is perhaps even more valuable than the strength itself. What we've seen with Robert and thousands of others is that consistency matters more than intensity. You don't need to join a gym or buy expensive equipment. You don't need to do hour-long workouts or push yourself to the point of exhaustion. What you need is a regular, appropriate challenge to those independence muscles. Just 5 minutes, twice a day, focusing on the specific movements that mirror getting up from a chair. And there's something else important happening when you work on this skill. Your brain is learning too. Balance and coordination aren't just physical attributes, they're neurological skills that your brain can improve with practice. When you stand up from a chair without using your hands, your brain is orchestrating a complex dance between multiple muscle groups, your vestibular system, and your proprioception, your body's awareness of where it is in space. This neural pathway strengthening might explain why people who improve their sit-to-stand time don't just move better, they think better too. Several studies have found correlations between physical function tests, such as this one, and cognitive performance. It makes sense when you think about it. Your brain and body aren't separate systems. They're intimately connected, constantly communicating and affecting each other. I had a viewer named Patricia who started working on her sit-to-stand after watching my previous video. She was 77 and needed both hands to push off the armrests of the chair. After 8 weeks of daily practice, not only could she stand up using just one hand for support, but she noticed something unexpected. Her mind felt sharper. I was remembering people's names better, she told me. I felt more alert during bridge club. I can't prove it's related to the exercises, but it's the only thing I changed. The science supports Patricia's experience. Regular physical activity increases blood flow to the brain and stimulates the release of growth factors that help maintain and create new neural connections. So when you're working on your sit-to-stand ability, you're not just protecting your independence, you might be protecting your mind as well. Now, let's talk about a third essential exercise to improve your performance on this critical test. Chair squats are similar to a sit-to-stand exercise, but you stop just before your bottom touches the seat, then stand back up. Start with 5 repetitions and gradually build to 10. If that's too challenging initially, use your hands lightly on the armrests for balance, but try to rely on them less each time. If you're still here, and this video is helping you, please leave a quick comment below. I'd really appreciate knowing you're watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Let's keep going. I want to be very clear about something. This isn't just about passing a test. This is about creating a foundation of strength that can quite literally save your life. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related deaths among adults over 65. Every 19 minutes, an older adult dies from a fall in this country. And the sad truth is that many of these falls occur during everyday movements, such as sitting down, standing up, or walking to the bathroom. The sit-to-stand test is more than a diagnostic tool. It's a wake-up call. If you struggled with it today, consider this your second chance. Your body is sending you a message before crisis strikes. Don't ignore it. Don't put it off until tomorrow. Start today with just 5 supported sit-to-stands. Tomorrow, do 6. Keep a journal by your favorite chair and track your progress. I've seen so many lives transformed by this simple awareness and action. People who thought their declining strength was just an inevitable part of aging discovered that they could reverse much of what they'd lost. They found not just strength, but freedom. The freedom to travel without fear, to play with grandchildren without hesitation, to live independently for years longer than they might have otherwise. Remember Margaret and Robert. They're part of what I call my chair champions, viewers who took this warning seriously and changed their futures. They didn't accept that declining strength was inevitable. They didn't wait for a fall or a health crisis to begin rebuilding what they had lost. And neither should you. If you're watching this and you passed the sit-to-stand test with flying colours, congratulations. But don't get complacent. Maintaining that strength is just as important as building it. Make the sit-to-stand part of your weekly routine, a simple check-in to ensure you're staying on track. And if you didn't pass the test today, remember this isn't a death sentence, it's an opportunity. An opportunity to recognize a critical warning sign before it leads to a crisis. An opportunity to take control of your future mobility and independence. An opportunity to add healthy, active years to your life. Start small. Start today. Be consistent. Track your progress, and most importantly, don't give up. Your body has an amazing capacity to adapt and strengthen at any age. I've seen 85-year-olds double their leg strength in 12 weeks. I've seen people go from needing 2 hands to stand up to doing 5 repetitions unassisted. The human body, your body, is remarkably resilient when given the right challenge and recovery. Thanks for watching today's video. If you found this content useful, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit. Your support helps us continue to show up for you.